What's up, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Happy New Year. We are here, 2022. I'm excited for this year. I'm excited for my channel. I'm excited for everything that I have planned right here in this noggin, and I'm just ready to show it off. So I figured that for the beginning of the year, I wanted to do something more on a teaching level. So I wanted to come up with a series, which is what I'm calling a beginner's guide to makeup. So I will be breaking down and showing you all how to do things such as your brows, to your eyeshadows, to applying lashes, to doing your lipstick, lip gloss, highlighter, foundation, concealer, baking, all that. I want to teach that and just do it in a little series, separate into a few different parts, and just post that for the first few videos of the year. So for today, let's do a 2022 version of my eyebrow tutorial. I don't have one uploaded on my channel, so I figured let's start off with the brows, because usually I start off with my brows when doing my makeup. I say that is the core of your foundation. The core of doing your makeup. So if these are right, then I feel like everything else is gonna fall right into place. So I just wanna teach y'all how to do that today. So continue watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Hit that bell button so that you're notified of my next upload. Continue watching the tutorial, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye. So before I fill in my brows, I usually shape my brows up using an eyebrow archer or maybe some tweezers. And what I do is just clean up those hairs on the arch of my brow. If I need them shaping up, I go to get them waxed, possibly. So I either use a pencil or a pomade. That is your choice. I use either or, but I really prefer a pencil, especially this pencil, because it's retractable, it's creamy, it's pigmented, it's affordable, and it has a spoolie already built into it, so you don't have to buy one separately. Nowadays, you'll find pencils with those either way. The pomade that I use is from the Crown Case. I love this pomade because it's creamy as well, it's pigmented, but I prefer a pencil because it's just easier to use for me. So the first thing I do is brush those brows. Brush the brows, keep them in place so that they won't get in the way of you filling them in. With the pencil, what I'm doing is drawing a line, basically tracing the bottom of my brow. Trace your shape. If you want a bigger shape, you can do that, but I say stay in the shape of your brow. After filling in the bottom of my brow, I'm taking the pencil and I am doing the same thing at the top of my brow, drawing a line and just tracing it. You notice how I didn't start at the very beginning of my brow, and that's because I don't want too much of a boxy shape. I think now with 2022 and even back in 2021, we were done with the boxes. We're now so into a natural brow. After I trace the top and bottom of my brow, I'm going back in with that pencil to draw me some little fake hairs at the beginning of my brow and fill in the extra spaces in my brow as well. I'm gonna use that brush to blend in the product and make sure it's evenly distributed. Nice shape right there, as you can see. Next, what I do with my brows is I conceal them. I want to make them sharp. What I do is get some concealer. Get me a little flat concealer brush as the one you see here. And this is from the Crown Case. And the other brush that I have, what I do with that brush, I'll possibly use that to carve out the shape of the top of my brow. I don't use it a lot, but I notice a lot of people, a lot of other artists, makeup artists use that as well. They really keep the sharpness of your brow. But this is the brush that I use. It's very flat. And because it's flat, it is easy to shape out my brow and to carve it out to make it very clean. You want a clean brow. So the concealer that I use is the LA Girl concealer. I like to use a concealer that is at least 2 shades lighter than my skin tone. I know some people use 2 concealers with their brows, one to shape it and then the other to highlight. I don't really do that. I just like to keep it simple. So using this flat brush, by the way, this brush came from Michael's. It's a painting brush, but because of the flatness of it, it's so easy to trace out my brow, as you can see. So with that concealer, all I'm doing is following the shape of my brow, tracing. Just like you did like in kindergarten when learning how to do your letters, you're gonna do the same thing with your eyebrow. Follow the shape of your brow. It's okay if you don't get it exactly underneath the brow. I would say try not to get too close to the brow because you're gonna mix in the concealer with the pencil or the pomade, but just follow the shape as perfectly as you can. You're not going to be perfect, and that's not the point of your brows, because our brows aren't perfect. The next thing I'm going to do is use that flat brush from the crown case, and I like to conceal the top of my brow with a foundation. And I like doing that because it's just easier to blend. I like using foundation instead of a concealer that's lighter, because I don't like the big transition of, you obviously can see that I traced out my brows with some concealer. I don't want to do that. So to blend out this concealer and foundation, I'll either use a fluffy blending brush like the one here from e.l.f. or I'll use a blending sponge. Usually I'll use the sponge on the bottom half of my brow, because I'm going to also use that sponge to blend out the concealer or eye primer that I use for my eyeshadow. But for today, I'm using a fluffy brush. This brush is really, really good, really affordable. It came from e.l.f. It's literally called a fluffy brush, and it's so easy to blend, I'm telling you. Usually I just go back in with the spoolie and I just blend everything back in. So after you fill in your brows, you want to set your brows. And you can do that using a brow gel, or a new trend I see is eyelash glue. Yes, eyelash glue. I'm using eyelash glue on this brow. It lays the hairs down. You won't see a hair stand up for the whole entire day. A lot of makeup artists will do this with their clients because it makes their brows last. For my right brow, I'm going to use the pomade. With the pomade, you want to get an angled brush like these two that I have right here. The one I'm showing you now, it has a spoolie on the end of it, so that's very good for you as well, because you won't have to buy one separately. What you're going to do is dip right into that pomade. Pomade is pigmented. You don't want too much. I'm telling you, a little bit goes a long way. So after you dip into the pomade, go back into the top of that pomade, the little cap on it, and wipe some of that off just to save you some product and make that brush really flat. Go ahead and brush your hairs out the way. Brush them flat as you can. You're going to trace the bottom of your brow, just like you did with the pencil. Now, the reason why I don't prefer a pomade is because I feel like it gives me a fake look. Sometimes you want a snatch brow, and sometimes you want more of a natural brow. I'm more of a natural brow person, just in my opinion. That's why I don't use pomade as much. But I would use pomade on like clients or so, just so their brows can last a long time. But what I'm doing now is tracing the top of my brow. I did not start at the very beginning, because you want to avoid having a boxy looking eyebrow. We're done with that trend. We're very done with that. I think a lot of people didn't know how to use a spoolie back then, and that's why our brows look like boxes, in my opinion. But yeah, just you're tracing your brow and you're filling it in. Some people have thin brows. I say if you have thin brows, I would recommend using a pomade, personally. But if you have thicker brows, kind of like me, I would just stick to a pencil, specifically the pencil I had, because of the creaminess of it. You won't have to worry about having such a thick brow, even though you already have thick brows. You get what I'm saying? So what I'm doing now is just concealing my brows. I think this is a better angle. As you can see, I'm just following the shape of my brow. Just follow the shape of it. It's very simple. I think it's easier if you just get a really flat brush, and it will make it easier to guide. Make it easier to conceal the brows and give you a really sharp look. I don't too much worry about the sharpness of the bottom of my brow. It's the top of the brow. I feel like once I conceal the top of my brow, that does it for it. And I will conceal the top of my brow using foundation. Like I said, foundation, I think it's just easier to do the top of your brow. It matches. Get a foundation that matches your skin tone, so you won't have to blend so much. I know back then we used to use really light concealer, and it was obvious that you were filling in your brows. We're over that now. Like I said, we're more about naturalness now, fluffy brows. Use the foundation. I recommend using a foundation. It's just easier. And I think for those that are just beginning, it will be easier for you to blend it out. And now just applying some clear brow gel to my brows just to lay down those hairs. And that is pretty much it, y'all. I really hope y'all enjoy this tutorial. I really love the results of my brows. Please feel free to use this information just so it can help you with filling in your brows as well. stay tuned for part 2 of next week. We will be discussing my favorite thing, which is eyeshadow. I'm very excited for that. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, hit that bell, and I will see y'all next week. Bye.